Hello students, I'm going to start one more lesson from the geography section, that is chapter number 2, lithosphere. In this topic I'm going to have the discussion here regarding the meaning important of the lithosphere. Lithosphere, first of all let us understand the meaning and importance of the lithosphere. Lithosphere is a outermost solid layer of the earth. It consists of different kind of the rock, mineral, soil and many things. So here it is obviously earth is made up of the different kind of the layer, and this is the most outer part of the earth, and this part of the earth is called lithosphere because it obviously we know that earth is made up of the different kinds of the layer, one two, and this is, so this one two three, and this is the most outer part of the earth. This layer is called lithosphere. And one more thing what they are saying, it consists different kind of the landform like a mountain, plateau, plain, even river. Here it is the picture that you can understand very easily. Mountain, river system, plateau, hilly areas, so these are also the part of the lithosphere. Let us understand the structure of the earth interior and the composition of the earth, how the earth has been made up and what it consists. Let us understand. Our earth planet is more than 4.6 billion years old. Please remember. And still the process of the change is going on in it. As a result of years of the study and research, we have been able to get the information about the material inside the earth only up to 10 to 12 kilometer. So what they are saying, the earth it will be in the, it is in the change of in the process of the changes. Many number of the changes are taking place. How the earth today is, it was not at all seen in for about 100 or 200 years back, or millions year 1 million years back. And one more thing, as a result of the study and research over a period of time, we have been able to study especially inside that 10 to 12 kilometer. So suppose now if you start to dig the earth here on the surface of the earth only, you can dig the earth and you can carry this research and study of the earth only 10 to 12 kilometer. Because if you start to go beyond the 10 to 12 kilometer, then temperature of the earth will be increasing, and obviously it is very difficult for we the people to tolerate that much high temperature. Because of that reason, man so far has been able to study or make the research only 10 to 12 kilometer inside the earth by digging the earth or so many other factors. See, human beings are also unable to know more about the depth of the earth. So still what they are saying, when more than 95% of the total earth information, it is unknown to the human being. Only 5% of the knowledge that earth is having, that much only we have been able to get. That's to research and the study over a period of time. Because what is going on inside that, actually it is completely beyond our reach. Obviously we know that we cannot carry the study beyond the 10 to 12 kilometer inside the earth, but there are many other ways through which that study about the earth can be carried on, especially to know more about the earth interior, especially the seismic waves, volcanic material. So these are very helpful for human being to carry the study or research about the earth. Suppose now if there is any earthquake, then that earthquake generate the seismic waves. With the help of the seismic waves, then what is going on inside the earth, one can make the research. And not only that one, even if there is any volcanic eruption in the world or any part of the world, then with the help of the material which is coming out from the volcanoes like gas, ashes, lava, by making this research or study on these material which is coming or which are coming outside the volcanoes, then one can understand what it is there inside the earth. So that because of that reason, whenever there is a seismic waves erupted or volcanoes are erupted, if there is any earthquake, then scientists they are very much keenly they used to observe about these kind of the developments which are happening inside the earth, so that they can come to know more and more knowledge about the earth. Now one more thing, this earth can be divided into three parts. Obviously it can be divided into three parts on the basis of what? Obviously on the basis of density of the material which is there inside the earth, and the chemical composition which we can get to see inside the earth, and physical plate of the matter On the basis of these three factors, then earth can be divided into three parts. Now let us understand one by one. So this is structure of the earth interior. Obviously it is a crust. First part, obviously crust means obviously this is the most upper part of the earth. Next, second part, this is mantle. So this part is called mantle and this part is called core. So we can say earth can be divided into three parts on the base of the various factors that already we came to know. So three part, first of all crust, which is most upper part of the earth. Second one is mantle. Mantle, here it is colored no with red color and yellow, orange and red, orange color and yellow color, and this part is called mantle. And this part which has been colored with a darkness, bit of the darkness, that can be called core. So earth can be divided into three parts. Please remember here crust, this part, and this part mantle, and this part obviously core. And again the core can be divided into two parts, outer core and inner core, that we will be discussing about core and all in a couple of minutes. Now let us take up the topic that is a crust. So here it is the crust. This is the most outer part of the earth surface, also we can say, that is called crust. And remember, in the case of the sea floor, the crust size is very much small, but in the case of the continent or mountain, then size of the earth crust is bigger than this part. So here the crust size is bigger and here it is very much small. So that crust is the uppermost layer of the earth and it consists silica and aluminium. Therefore it is called as a seal. It's also called as a continental crust. See here, this part continental crust. In this part of the crust, then two kind of the mineral we can get to see. First of all, silica and aluminium. So these are the important mineral which we can get to see only in this part of the earth, which is called obviously the continental crust, because it is located on the continental place and which is bigger than this of the ocean crust. Ocean crust is very much small in the size, and because of that reason it is called Cl. Remember here, whatever the mineral that are very much present in this area, so that two letters are taken, first two letters of the minerals are taken, that is a silica means Si is taken, and aluminium, in the case of aluminium, Al. So because of that reason it can be composed as a Cl. And in the lower part it consists silica and magnesium. So because of that reason it is called Sima, and it is highly dense and it is also called ocean crust. So here in the case of the ocean crust, two other kind of the mineral we can get to see. First of all, silica. Here also silica is available, here also silica is available, but here another important mineral, that is magnesium, is available, which is completely absent in this part of the crust. So because of that reason, here also the first two letter of the two mineral which are present in the ocean crust, especially in this part of the earth, then it is called ocean crust or Sima. Now let us go on, that is mantle. This is a second part of the earth. So earlier we were discussing about this part which is called crust, already we know. Next, second part, it start from here and it will come to an end this part, and this part is called mantle. So middle layer of the earth interior, that is called mantle, and the depth of this layer is for about 2900 kilometers from the surface of the earth. So what they are saying, if you start to dig the earth from the surface of the earth for about 2900 kilometers inside the earth, then that part of the earth will be called as a mantle, and this is the most middle part of the earth. The material of this layer are in semi-liquid and partial molten state, and it is also called as a magma. So what comes to the material which we can get to in this part of the earth, so that is not fully liquid and it is not fully solid, so that it is like a semi-liquid, means half of it is liquid and half of that one is like solid. So because of that reason it can be called as a partial molten state, and it can be called as a magma. If there is any earthquake occurs at the time, lava is erupted from this part of the earth only. because lava already you might have seen in the picture and all. So this like a fire which will be flowing, and if once it gets the solidification, then it will become the rock. Rocks are made up of the magma only. And remember here, if there is any earthquake before that lava is erupted, then it will be called as a magma. If once it comes from the surface of the earth, it will be called lava. But if once it has not been erupted, still it is there in the interior part of the earth, it will be called as a magma. And in this part of the earth, what are the important minerals we can get to see in the mantle part of the earth? That is magnesium and iron. So these are very rich in this part of the earth. See, mantle, other important parts, remember here again the mantle can be further divided into two parts, upper mantle and lower mantle. The partial meltdown state here means semi-liquid we can say, and here means lower part of the earth, sorry, mantle. So here completely all the materials will be solid in the condition, means solid condition. But here this, remember here I am dividing this mantle into two parts. This is the upper mantle and this is the lower mantle. So that in this upper mantle, obviously the material like mineral, rock, whatever the material we can get to see, that will be partial meltdown state, semi-liquid we can say. And here obviously most of the part of this lower mantle part, then the material will be in the solid condition. The contact zone or the boundary between crust and mantle, then that is called moho. Remember here, this is quite very important from your exam point of view. In fill in the blanks and all the questions can be expected from this sector. So what is the boundary between the crust and mantle? Obviously you should say moho. See, and it is called Gutenberg discontinuity. In another word also, this boundary between the mantle and crust can be called Gutenberg discontinuity. The rocks are also different in the chemical composition and above and below from here. Now let us go on. That is core part of the earth, means the depth of the earth is called core. The innermost layer of the earth, and the depth of this layer is for about 6,371 kilometers from the surface of the earth. The core has nickel as well as ferrous, so it is called knife. So this is important information that everybody should remember here. So if you start to dig the earth from the surface of the earth, then if once you go on digging the earth for about 6,371 kilometers, then you will reach to the core. Obviously, what are the important mineral that core is consisting? Nickel and ferrous, which can be called as a knife. Next, see, the core also can be divided further into two parts. So here one part and this is another part. The outer core, it is a melted form, and inner core, it is a solid form. Here, so whatever the material we can get to see in this part of the earth or in this part of the core we should say, so that will be in the form of meltdown state, means it will be like in the liquid form. And in this part of the earth or in this lower part of the core or inner part of the core, here the material will be in the solid condition. The boundary that separate between the mantle and the core, that is called Gutenberg discontinuity. Here also remember here. So let me make it clear. Here it is. this part or boundary that will separate core and mantle, and that boundary is called Gutenberg discontinuity. This is quite very important. So these are the important points that everybody should make a note of that one. Now let us understand structure of the earth interior and the composition. So that inside that, what are the things are included? Obviously, let us take up the topic that is rocks. Now let us understand, because rock is the very important part of the lithosphere. If there is no rock, then lithosphere cannot be imagined. So because of that reason, let us understand what is meant by this rock. Now the rock definition, they have given different thing, but I would like to make it very easy. So what is the definition of the rock? The hard things, inorganic substance, mixture of the mineral, these are called as a rocks. In three words, or these three words, they are very very important if you want to write the definition of the rock. First of all, hard things which are inorganic substance and having the mixture of the mineral, these are called rocks. Please understand here only. See, the rocks can be divided into three parts. First of all, inorganic igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So these are three important types of the rocks. Now let us understand one by one. First of all, igneous rocks. So these are very very important rocks. Let us understand. So here is a picture given, that is a volcano. How the volcanoes are erupted, then you will be having the good idea about how the igneous rocks are made, how they are constructed. Let's understand. The word igneous means obviously this is a fire. The igneous rocks are framed by cooling of molten matter, that is a magma, and that comes from the interior part of the earth. And igneous rocks were the first rocks to be formed, and therefore they are called as primary rocks. So what they are saying, first of all, so this is the volcano and here is the magma. If once there is a huge temperature and pressure inside the earth, then because of those development inside the earth, then these volcanoes are erupted. If once this magma is erupted and comes out from the surface of the earth, then it cools up, its solidification takes place, and after the cooling, then they will become the solid, and this solid material is called igneous rocks. And these are the rocks which are formed first time, because of that reason these are called primary rocks. So let us understand one more time here. So these igneous rocks are made from because of these volcanic eruption. So here is the pictures that you can get to see, here also the picture. So these are igneous rocks. Why? Because once the lava or magma is erupted from the inside the earth through this volcano, so over a period of time the solidification of that one takes place, it cools up. After getting them cooled, then they will become the solid, and those solid material is called igneous rocks and primary rocks also. Now there are two types of the igneous rocks: intrusive rocks and extrusive igneous rocks. Now let us understand this first part. The molten material of the earth interior solidify below the surface of the earth before reaching the earth's surface. So they are called intrusive igneous rocks. Example they have given: granite, diorite, and so many. Here also the pictures already it has been given. By studying them, that you can understand. So once again I would like to make it clear. If once the Now let us understand. So here it is the magma. If it doesn't reach to the surface of the earth, suppose because of the temperature and heat, now the changes takes place, then magma is erupted, but it doesn't reach to the surface, so it will come here and it will solidify. If one cools up, then here also the rocks are created. And remember here, they cannot be seen on the surface of the earth because they do not reach, means lava cannot reach the surface of the earth. So because of that reason, because there is no much temperature and no pressure is there much, so because of that reason they will solidify inside the earth only. Obviously this can be, if once you dig the earth, that you can get to see these rocks, and these rocks can be called intrusive igneous rocks. Here is the good example that we can see. Next, another important type of the igneous rocks, the extensive igneous rocks. These rocks, they are formed by the solidification of the magma above the surface. Remember here, above the surface means here whatever the lava is flowing, if once solidification of that one takes place, solidify or cools up, then they are formed as a rock, and these rocks are called, this second part, are extensive igneous rocks. Here are the pictures, basalt rocks and all. So these are the important pictures which are given. So these are example for these kinds of the rocks. So these are two types of the igneous rocks. Now let us understand another part or second part of the rocks, or we will be continuing about the second part of the rock in next videos.